Welcome back to the Paranormal Girl podcast. I am your host, Kristen. I've got an interesting one for you tonight. New theories and techniques in the world of ghost research aren't born in a bubble, or are they? It's a little foreshadowing for you, my friends. I'm incredibly honored to welcome to the show a couple of professionals who don't just pay lip service to the search for answers. They get out there in the field. They're reviewing mountains of evidence. They've got a body of work between them spanning, gosh, 40 plus years between the two of them. And they put their knowledge and their findings to the metal in order to put to bed outdated ways of doing things and in turn introduce new concepts and theories and standards and best practices when it comes to paranormal investigation. I am joined by the founder and assistant director of Canada's oldest paranormal research team, the Searcher Group, Richard Palmisano and Peter Rowe. Now, Richard and Peter are authors, and they have a brand new book out. Let me add it up here so y'all can see. So this is a comprehensive go-to guide for the serious paranormal investigator, the complete paranormal investigation handbook. Now, if you consider yourself a real deal paranormal investigator, or you want to be one, this book belongs on your shelf because it doesn't just run you through what's included as soon as you touch boots to ground on a purportedly haunted location. It includes all of the other stuff that needs to be happening in the background, preceding and following your paranormal investigation. And yeah, it's just a must have. And I think a lot of people don't think about these things that are in this book, the things that you should be doing. And I'm speaking as one of them. You know, this book has given me a lot to ponder and reconsider for my next investigation. So it's very much appreciated, very much needed. And I'm thinking we got a few folks watching. Hey, everybody. Don't be shy if you want to put your questions or anything in the chat. You got a couple of veterans to talk to and run those by tonight. Thoughts, theories, throw them in there. But we are going to go ahead and just get this started. Let me bring on our guests for the evening. Welcome to the show, Mr. Peter Rowe and Richard Palmisano.
Hey, Kristen.
Hi,
How are
everyone.
you?
Hi.
After
Very,
that
very good.
introduction, there's not much more to say.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I know. I do too much.
No, no, no.
I go too far. No,
Not at all.
but no, I everything I said was true. It's a fantastic book. Like I was telling you guys, yeah, I got the audio version of it, which I hear you didn't know there was an audio version, and there might be Amazon's, I don't know, taking it for themselves. But no. It was good. I actually listened to it twice because yeah, the audio version just flies by. So much good information in there. Now
You fell asleep
tonight,
the first time.
yeah, I had to listen to it twice. Yeah. Um, but you know, we are going to discuss your work, your theories, and we are going to pull out some of the concepts that are included in the book, and that is including at the end of the show, near the end of the show, we are going to pull out a couple of techniques and theories that are maybe more bunk than we originally thought they were, and we're going to break some hearts, is what I'm saying. So prepare yourselves for that. I'm just going to toss it at you and we'll go with it. But I think just to start out the show, would you guys please just give us some individual introductions, because I've had Peter on, but it's been a million years, or I'm sorry, Richard, it's been a long time since I've had you on. So
Yeah.
reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your involvement with the Searcher Group.
When I was 18, I founded the Searcher Group, which has now become the oldest paranormal research company in Canada. And that was back in 1979, so 46 years. went on from there, doing research, field work, started to get some jobs. I was raised in a haunted house, so I was used to the weird stuff, the whispers and the shadows, and which was kind of cool. I actually got to go back and investigate that family home 35 years later, and there was several there, and they were all deceased relatives. There was only one I couldn't identify. I had no idea who this was, but he sort of kept himself. But my grandmother was there, my uncle was there, a cousin was there, so it was kind of interesting. It was kind of an odd experience, but it was a great experience.
Yeah.
The touches and the feelings and the reminiscence. We pulled some of the greatest stuff out of that house. It was we actually got a video. We ran that video in the upper floor, the second floor hallway, and the only way I can describe it is people go into the light. I think we captured the light like a window, and it was bizarre. We've had a lot of professional people look at it, film people look at it, like TV people look at it. And, they're in awe, but they just can't explain what it is. It's so bizarre. It's like a golden light. It's so bright, and yet it doesn't reflect off other surfaces, like the varnished floor. You'd think that bright light would reflect, but it doesn't reflect anywhere.
Whoa.
And it starts with a black line, like a crack, and it opens up, and you can see all this gold stuff moving around and everything, and then it stays for a few minutes, and then it closes, and it moves up the wall, and it does the same thing, and it's so bizarre. Unfortunately, I didn't have audio on that camera, so I don't know.
But you do have the video.
Oh yeah, that's
Wow.
it's that was one of my favorites. But there's no venue for it. I can't. TV people they love it, but they can't do anything with it because it's slow. It's a slow process. It takes for it to move up the entire hallway. It takes almost an hour. So,
oh wow!
With less commercials, you don't have time to run it on TV. So it's so there's just no venue for it. But it's phenomenal. It's one of my favorites.
It's online though, still, isn't it, Richard?
I think it might be online. I can't even remember. We put it up there a decade ago, so lost track of it. But
yeah,
I think it's what's that?
Oh, sorry. I think it's called Ghost Surveillance or Caught on Tape, and it was a sped up version of the finished video, wasn't it?
It could be. I can't remember.
Something
I can't even remember.
Wow.
I've got a copy here. I've got the original locked up. I've got the copy here.
But I think it's still online.
If I'll try to remember to remind you if I can get a link of that after. I'd love to see it. Yeah, that is so cool. Well, that's a pretty sealing experience, an early on experience.
Yeah.
To be like, yep, this is something weird going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about you, Peter? What's introduce yourself and what's your early involvement with the paranormal?
Peter Rowe, the assistant director of the Searcher Group. I joined in 2010, 2011, around that time. But earlier than that, I was always fascinated by the concept or the idea of ghosts, that we could come back from the dead at a very early age. Scared the hell out of me, but I read what I could out of the local library. And then, a few decades later, my wife bought us tickets to a ghost walk in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Fort George, which I highly recommend. So there's your plug, Fort George. But what that tour did for me was open my eyes to history and appreciating history, because it's run by the daytime staff, so they have to know the history to get a job there. So there was no BS. They gave you facts, and they give you facts as they take you around this nice dark fort. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a history lesson, as we were told about whole families living there, with the added attraction of the possibility of running into some of them as you were going through this tour, right? So I thought, what a fantastic way to talk about history, because I wish schools taught it that way, actually, because I had no love for it at all
Yeah.
until then. So anyway, mind blown. Ghosts, incredible. And then from there, I started seeking a team that was very serious about this and wanted to not just prove that they exist, but go deeper and find answers into the human condition. So I happened to run into one of Richard's books, the second one, and read that book. At the back of that book, he shared a theory that I'm sure we'll probably talk about at some point tonight. And that blew me away because I had always, up until then, I had only ingested theories by Harry Price and Peter Underwood and maybe Hans Holzer as well. And they were just like recycled ideas on what ghosts were and, where they reside, et cetera. But I thought, here's a guy who's, like going way beyond that and, thinking outside of the box to phrase. But, and I was really pleased to see that he actually lived nearby. So I got in touch with him, wanted to interview him. Turns out he was interviewing me. He kept my number and called me in on a couple of jobs. And one of them was over many months at the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. And that was basically my audition. And at the end of that, Richard asked if I'd be interested in joining the team. And I was just like, yeah, no brainer here. No, I've been a proud member of the team and have led my own investigations with the team, but we can, probably get into that at some point.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
yeah.
How many, and I don't expect you to have like an exact answer, but how many investigations has the Searcher Group, would you guesstimate, have you conducted? I know, Richard. Are we talking like hundreds?
Yeah, it would be in the hundreds. But those were the early years where we just, somebody would call me and say, hey, I've got a problem, or I want to look into something, and I would do it. As we gained more knowledge, more information on the subject, the investigation started to grow in length. They normally now take, a year. The longest one was 6 years. Peter and I, we just did a job a while ago in near Georgetown. That was had to be almost 3 years. Right, the CNE, when they invited us in to look at their property and their buildings and the surrounding area, that was 13 months. So it really takes time to get the answers you're looking for. You don't always get the answers, but you can get pretty close. And it takes time. You can't do it in the night. And that really is
right
a problem for us, because sometimes you get a call from somebody and they need help, and you say it's going to take time, and you explain it to them and the whole process, and there's research and historical stuff, and you have to talk to all the witnesses, and then the investigations, right? You're trying to get answers for the client, and they don't understand because they see TV, and these guys get it done, less commercials. You're talking 40 minutes solved. So it's you got to re-educate the client. We're not TV. It's
Right. And a lot of it could be quite boring too. Yeah, they get all the snippets and the snapshots of the action. You guys, I've talked about the Searcher Group before to other guests and other investigators that I know. You guys are kind of like a unique little unicorn in the amount of time that you're willing to contribute to a location, and that is in great part why I think you guys do get such incredible evidence, because you guys have some absolutely jaw-dropping stuff. And like I think we talked about a big case that you had, Richard. It had something to do with one of the books that I got before. The title is escaping me. But is that something we can do right now and just kind of talk about maybe a standout case of yours, just to give us a taste of how the Searcher Group kind of does these cases, these investigations, that TSG flavor, and then we're going to jump into the book and start pulling stuff out of that.
Sure. Well, what I've learned is the background, the workhorse, I should say. The workhorse for the Search Group is audio video surveillance. It's not enough to walk around with a camcorder or a handycam or something like that, or a little digital recorder trying to capture evidence. We do that as well, but we try to saturate the site with audio video surveillance. This runs in the background the entire time we're there, and even when we're not there. Sometimes we get more information when we're not there. Yeah. We'll set all this equipment up and we'll go to the coffee shop for half an hour or an hour and we'll let it run. Before we go, we'll start talking about it. We'll, somebody will play the devil's advocate and say, oh, I don't believe in all this stuff, even though we're believers, just to get them riled up. And then we leave. And it's amazing how social they are. And they start to have a conversation about us because they feel safe because we're not there. We've left. Mm-hmm. And we're capturing all this in EVP on the surveillance equipment. And that's a huge amount of information we have. I mean, it takes days, maybe even weeks to go through it all because depending how many cameras you're running for 7 or 8 hours, it's a monumental task. But in that data, now you have names, they're sharing information, and now you have something to go back to the site with. And hey, Joe was mentioned and he replied, so Joe's there. So next time you go back, now you can talk to Joe. You know something about him and you've got his name and he's like, oh, how do they know my name? Yeah. So it really starts things rolling. And you're building a relationship. And it should be a good, respectful relationship that you're having with them. Mm-hmm. You're not making threats, you're not causing them problems. So they're like, okay, so, and then they start to give you more information. The problem we have in that is there's usually 2 types of ghosts that we're dealing with. One has a story to tell, or they have a secret to keep. Yeah. And when you put the 2 together, that's where you get conflict. Because this one says, hey, I was a victim about something. This went on. And this one's saying, shut up, be quiet, shut up, be quiet. And then there's that conflict. Yeah. And then we happen to be in the middle of it. So all this guy with the secret wants to do is scare us out of the property. Anything to keep a secret. And that's fun because I look at that as communication anyways. You have to do something to make me scared. And if I capture that on video, even better. So the surveillance part of it is so important. And I'm used to it because in my other life, when I worked security and law enforcement, I used a lot of surveillance. So I'm used to that. It works in real life. So why not in the afterlife? So that's my go-to thing. And then of course we do all the EVP sessions and the spirit box stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right, but that's still running in the background. So you might get an EVP and you're catching it on a different angle from another location. And it's like, wow, that's interesting. Adjoining room and we still heard it. But I get people ask, I saw it online 2 days ago, I think it was. The question was, would you prefer to run a spirit box session or an EVP session? Run both. Yeah. Run both simultaneously. And you hear what you hear from the spirit box, but it's amazing when you go back to review the recording, you're getting more information.
Yeah.
So,
and then if you've got 2 separate pieces of equipment taken on 2 separate devices and they're confirming one another, I mean, would you say that's as close as we can get to like full like proof? Like, is that as close as the paranormal researchers can get? Because I don't know that we can, or you might argue with this. Can we reach the scientific methods standards? Can we reach that yet?
Well, no. I'm actually writing a new book where
what
the beginning, the introduction says the scientific method is great, but science using the scientific method or us will never prove the existence of ghosts. Yeah. It cannot. Just like the scientific method cannot prove what reality is, why we dream, or why we feel the way we feel. It's because it's not repeatable. And that tears that entire concept of the scientific method right out, and you can't use it.
Sure.
So science can't look at it. They've painted themselves into a corner with a method that cannot examine what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very limited. Yeah.
It just can't do it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that being said, we are going to start digging into some of your theories because the TSG, I hope you don't mind me shortening it that for,
Nope.
because it's a tongue twister. Though we cannot, science cannot really, I mean, they can't prove in this realm. It would be a very difficult thing. As that being the case, the TSG is quite methodical and quite scientific based, I feel like, just looking at your work and what you have to say. So you've got some interesting theories, and they're based on interesting evidence that we are going to get into. But just to give people a little taste of what is in the book, I'm going to separate this into two sections. I kind of want to just give a little nod to the standards and best practices that is included in the book, that I think is really important for people to know it's in there, and then we'll dive into your theories. So first off, you talk about investigators holding their teams to this higher standard, and that includes a few things, and one of which is respect. Having respect with the location, with the owner, with the ghosts themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And can you give us just a couple of examples? Like, what do you mean by that? And it can be like big or small things, but it's things that people don't often think to do. What are those things that we can start incorporating in the way that we are investigating to show that respect?
Well, I'll let Peter answer, but there's one thing I do want to say. When we go into a property, it's you have to show your respect, and not like you own it.
Right.
Right.
You need to show the respect that somebody else has worked for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I make sure I bring things to do, like garbage bags. I bring stuff to clean up with. I don't leave a mess. I don't leave garbage. If they have a garbage receptacle, I don't even use it. I bring my own garbage bags, because the last thing somebody that's done you a favor by allowing you access wants to do is have to hire somebody to start cleaning up a mess that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's a big thing with me. It's some of the team, I smoke, so I'm very conscious about that. I don't smoke on the property. I'll go off to the public area street. I bring a sealed ashtray with me. I leave it with my vehicle. I go there to smoke. Put my cigarette in the ashtray. I take it home with me. I'm very conscious about that stuff. I don't want to leave them with a situation that they're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have brought these people.
Right. Yes. Got to clean up after them.
I'll let Peter go to the in depth of this concept.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, and that's a great point, Richard. But I was going to share the idea that when we go into a place, it's usually by invitation, and so the aspect of respect comes in respecting it's someone else's home, and that ghosts are people too. They're just outside of the physical. That's the only difference that I've come to learn doing this work, and it didn't take long. But so we've got to respect them. We're coming into their space. We're probably breaking up their routines that they're going. They're doing a daily routine, and here come these strangers into their home or their place of refuge in some cases, asking questions. So we're the intruders, we're the guests, so we say so. We will often say, thank you for having us. This is, why we're here. We're here to talk to you, hear your story, if there's anything you need from us, that kind of thing. And as Richard said, also respect for the property and the client. Right. We don't leave any refuse behind, which actually was the impetus behind a very powerful EVP we captured in one location after Paul reminded me, we were very quickly, I'll just share this little anecdote. We were tidying up and Paul reminded me, we have got to get the trash from the kitchen over there. And I knew this, and I was just like, yeah, I know. And then this disembodied voice said, "Why?" And all 5 or 7 of us just stopped in our tracks, and we're like, "Did you? Who said that?" And it was sort of like a very surreal moment, because everybody sort of stopped what they were doing and tried to figure out where this voice came from.
Mhm.
It had to do with that refuse disposal. Later, on analysis, thankfully, 2 of our recorders captured this voice, and it's in my book, Haunted Town Halls, actually. On analysis, I determined that it was a young boy saying "bye," actually, but it seemed to come from the talk about the trash. But anyway, I digress. But it was quite a moment. As I'm sure Richard was there. He remembers that, and we were like,
Yeah.
"What did we just hear?" But yeah. So anyway, back to respect. Sorry, I go on tangents. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I like tangents. And yeah, just to pop this back up, Damien, Life Beyond 6 Feet, he runs RKB Paranormal. Always be respectful. We always go into a
Absolutely.
location with respect. Absolutely, D.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Perfect. That's true.
All right. So yeah, respect is a big cornerstone of being an awesome paranormal investigator, one that people are going to want to have back on their location.
That's right. Yeah.
Another thing that you hit on is motivation. And I found this especially interesting. And without going into a whole tangent, it actually reminded me of being an actor and being on a film set and all of the things that need to go into that. And everybody thinks they can do it, but you have no idea what you don't ever ask yourself, like, is it worth it for me to do this and understand all of these pieces and to do it? And so just to pare it down, basic question, I want to know, is there anything wrong with ghost hunting for fun, for the thrill of it?
Richard?
No, I don't think so. I mean, as long as you're not causing harm or really upsetting property owners, because that's when it hurts.
Yeah.
Because when you start to take it like a lackadaisical attitude, and you're not using respect, and you're maybe causing damage or maybe upsetting property owners, or it gets around between property owners. And then when a group like the searcher group shows up, because we've heard, hey, there's something going on this property, and we show up and knock on the door, they have a bad taste in your mouth already, and they go, no, no, you know what? We had these kids in last week, and they were making noise and they were playing games, and so no. So it starts to shut down important properties to us, and
opportunities.
We're losing that data. We're losing that ability to go in and collect, and it's important. That is important because it shows repeatable trends, and without that, we just can't, start to build theory. Because trends between spirits at different locations tell us a great deal about the afterlife.
Yeah,
and that's how we determine how to run an experiment. Because if a spirit in location A, B, C, and D are doing a similar thing in response to something we've done, that's very important. So now we know, okay, if we do this, they should respond in some sort of way. But when you start closing properties down and we can't access it, that is lost.
Yeah. And you know what? A thought that I had prior to us going live was how many investigators I've talked to. And you know what? I only know great, awesome people and investigators, but how many of them I have heard from saying they have a hell of a time getting into new properties. They're doing everything right. They've got high standards and they just cannot get into these properties. And it's likely because of, previous people going and making a fool of themselves. You can't get into a place now for any less than, $2,000 a night, apparently.
Yeah. We won't pay to get into a location. I mean, we don't have the money. I mean, we're a volunteer team, and you two probably talked about this the first time Richard was on, but it's a team made up of volunteers that were all passionate about this kind of work, and it's just not in the budget. We're already paying for,
Yeah.
equipment and batteries. Like, did I mention batteries?
SD cards.
Gas and wear and tear on our vehicles, getting to places, and parking in more city situations.
And don't forget the pizza.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Pizza, Chinese food, but whatever dinner costs. Yeah. But yeah, those kinds of things. So we can't afford it, and we don't. Just be honest here. We just can't afford it, and all of our resources go into the work and the equipment to study it. And
Well, that being said, actually, that's another thing we'll hit on, and then we'll move into like techniques and theories. But when is it okay for an investigator to make money? Like, in what scenario is it okay?
Okay, so how I've made money in the past is through the books, which usually a long-term investigation doesn't even pay for the investigation, or the book doesn't pay for the investigation. So you're coming up short anyways.
Right.
So through books, you can write online stories, right? Some places will pay you. You might make $75, $100 for a story online, and lectures. But a lot of places aren't going to pay for lectures. Who's going to pay for lectures are probably around Halloween. If you're really good and people know you, corporations will hire you to do a lecture or to come to their party and rub elbows with their guests and tell ghost stories and stuff like that. And people can ask questions. And they'll pay pretty good. Other than that, there's no other way to make money. If you're an investigator showing up, you have another? Is there another?
Oh, I was going to add, sort of along the same lines as lectures, is I was hired to provide testimonials for a television show here in Canada that was also broadcast in the States, but it was more of an honorarium. It's not like an ongoing residual situation. So, but that was just for my time. And as Richard suggested, and rightly so, is that now that I'm an author as well, really what we make back in royalties is a pittance compared to what we put out in the field. But again, back to that passion. We love doing this kind of work. But
that's what we're in it for. And
absolutely.
Yeah, but if you're charging, and I've written about this and I've talked about this in the past, if you're an investigative group or a medium, even worse, and you're charging money from a client to do this kind of work, I'm not 100% sure. I think the law is pretty similar in the US, but in Canada, you're right on the borderline of fraud because you're charging money to somebody who's vulnerable. You can't prove a single thing. You could escalate that fear in them to pay you even more money. I'm going to fix this if you pay me more money. And then you can't offer a warranty or guarantee to your work. It's an impossibility. So you're right on that borderline of fraud. And so in my belief, if any investigator goes out and says, hey, you have to pay X number, we'll do an investigation for you, just walk away. There's a 1,000 investigative teams out there that'll do it for nothing.
So many. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily like illegal or I mean, personal opinions on it would be, that borders on fraud to charge, to go and investigate a place, but it is certainly looked down upon. Luckily, I don't know anybody who would do that to somebody, just to go and investigate, but
there have been cases where they've been charged with fraud, and it's in
really okay.
How you use that terminology. If you say, during our investigation, we determined it's, something you found out about the client that they're afraid of, right? A deceased relative. Oh yeah, it's your Aunt Agnes. She hates you and she's out to harm you. And I can get a medium to come in and fix this all. That's fraud right there. That's fraud. So if the client, you do your thing, you do your magic, but the client still feels after it's all done and paid for that there's still a threat that you put in her head or his head.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the police. They're going to come and see you about this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to say, well, how do you know? Can you prove it? And where's your warranty? Where's your guarantee that this isn't going to occur? And if you say, I don't know, do you mind leaning against the car, please? So, yeah. That's how it's worked in the past for several people. So it's a slippery slope. It's all about interpretation.
Right.
And
Right.
it doesn't matter what you say, it's what's in the client's mind that you put there. And that's where it's going to go.
Yeah. Here for us. Absolutely awesome guests tonight on the show. I agree, sir.
Hey, thanks.
All right, let's get into some meat and potatoes that are also included in the book. Techniques, theories, and then we are debunking, and that should be a personal favorite of Air Force. Spooky, good evening. Thanks for jumping on. Okay. So like we were talking earlier, the scientific basis of TSG's methodologies and such. I know we can't classify it science, but you guys get very close. You guys are just very methodical, very, very thorough. Are there, with all of the theories and all of the evidence and findings that you have about different equipment and such, I was just curious, do you two ever not agree on a theory or an idea of something, or do you disagree about whether or not like a piece of equipment works or works better?
I don't think so. Dude, I don't remember having a disagreement with you.
Oh, match made in heaven.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think certain methodologies, there might be a disagreement or a slight, what are you doing, or right?
Mhm.
Especially with my brother Paul. My brother Paul works with us. He's our analyst. Thank God for him, because, like I said, there could be 40 hours of audio video, and he's our analyst, and he will go through this frame by frame if it kills him, and he's the one he'll call and say, "Oh my God, you got to hear this, or you got to see this," and then there's me speeding over to have a look, and but he'll say, I'll be trying something, and he'll be like, because he's old school, he'll look at me, like, what are you doing? Right? And I'll explain it to him, go, I'll do it this way, and then we get into
Yeah, that's true.
that's what you expect from brothers, Italian brothers. It's like, shut up.
Shut up your face.
Oh yeah, I mean, a Sicilian over here. I totally get it.
No,
You got that, right?
I'm the odd one out.
Very
So,
passionate disagreements, but yeah, you come together at the end.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, how about some specifics here? So, Richard, this one's specifically going to be for you. You said something in the book, and I hope I got this right because I was listening, but I might have misunderstood. Ghosts, you have found that ghosts exist in the UV spectrum. Is
Right.
that accurate?
Yeah.
How did you arrive at this?
Yeah, so that's field work we've done using specific equipment, looking at that frequency range, and then the research end of it shows other investigative teams looking at either specifically the UV or the full spectrum, and in the full spectrum, it's happening in the ultraviolet. Now, the problem with a full spectrum camera is it's built to it's like a slide rule. It's built sort of in the center of, here's visual, and then there's ultraviolet, and there's the infrared. So it's not catching the actual full spectrum. So there's a lot of UV that it doesn't see, and there's a lot of IR it doesn't see either. So then we take it and we look at it specifically in the IR or in the UV, and we're finding more activity that's visual is in the ultraviolet.
Okay. How does this does it change how we should be using or how often we should be using infrared based equipment?
Infrared works good, but if you can get ultraviolet and try and get an ultraviolet camera. They used to make them 10 years ago, and they stopped making them. Now the best you can do is full spectrum. And like I said, in the full spectrum, they're missing that whole end of the ultraviolet. Now, I don't know if you want to get into conspiracy theories, there might be a reason for that. Because they work. So if you've got the money and you can know a guy that can build you particularly a true ultraviolet camera, video camera, then yeah, I suggest go and get it. Modifying equipment's it's expensive, but it's important for the work we do. All the microphones we use are set to 10 hertz because that gives that bigger cap. The human hearing is the 20 hertz. It starts at 20 to 20,000 hertz. So, but we like to get down into the 10 hertz. I would like to even go lower. I did find a microphone that goes to 1 hertz. I don't have it yet because I'm retired and it's a lot of money. So, so we're working on that. You know,
so you're working on the next book then? Yes, you got to get that.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's always an uphill battle, right? It's always you're always going trying to get up that hill with the.
Hey, I hear you. Well, okay. All right. Next thing I want to talk about from the book, and because I especially wanted to hit on this because I think this will be incredibly helpful to investigators that will tune into this and listen on the replay. And maybe Peter, maybe you want to take this one.
Sure.
Tell us, what is the squeezing method?
Oh, sorry. Just as you mentioned that, I've got to add power here. Hang on.
Oh, no.
I didn't plug in. Hang on.
Oh, he might be gone. All right.
So squeezing, So the squeezing method is, I came up with that in Hamilton. Oh, there he is. Oh, maybe not.
Hey, we can hear you. We just lost your video.
Okay, well, you're not missing much then. Yeah, sorry about that. Just
you're good.
The plug came out. Okay, let me turn on the camera. There we go. Ooh.
Ghost in the machine, Peter.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Perfect, Peter.
Sorry, you were asking about the squeeze method.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's something that was introduced to me, by Richard. He came up with that method, and that is, as is explained in the manual, where if you have enough people in a particular location, you can sort of prod or force communication by having a person in every room of the location, whether it's a closet or storage room, washroom kind of thing. And if you sort of saturate the location with people, or even sort of get a row of people sort of walking from one floor to the other in unison, taking pictures and whatever, you're sort of, if it comes to it, the spirit is sort of backing away from you until they're basically cornered, and then they're forced to communicate. Most of the time, we don't have to go that route, but that is a method, sort of a soft method of provoking a response.
Okay.
If you can imagine half a dozen or even a dozen people with cameras with flashes on Gettysburg in formation, a drummer behind them, a video camera in the background watching the whole thing, and they march forward. And as they march forward, flash, 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 flash. March forward, flash. It's almost like muzzle flashes, and it's going to evoke an emotional response from something over there. Maybe they're going to fire back. Maybe they're going to retreat. Maybe they're going to do something, right? Because they're fueled by an emotion. And you might capture something on the camera, but you probably capture something on that video camera that's running in the background. And you just march across. And it's so emotional. And that's a catalyst. Emotion is the catalyst for ghosts. Their activity is going to be fueled by. That's the fuel. And memory is the process. So I have a memory. I have a memory. It's important. It brings up an emotion, and I'm going to create an action.
Okay. All right. That's exactly where we're heading. for our final theory, or method, a part of it all that is included in the book. You do talk about it there, but I want you to go in depth about your theory as to the reality of the ghost. What is the bubble, the memory bubble, or the memory matrix? What is this concept that you guys have come up with? Correct?
No, that's Richard. All Richard.
That's all Richard. Richard, you created the newest theory that I've heard. What is this?
Yeah, so I've been working on it and developing it for years, and it's getting
Mhm.
bigger and bigger and bigger and more complex. It's in this book. It's going to probably be in the next book, more robust. Every time I look at it, I get another idea and I go research it, and it keeps growing and growing and growing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And actually, people are starting to take notice of it. They're actually
Oh, good.
Finally.
looking at it.
Wow. I said finally. Wow.
It takes time. I mean, I was even The Simpsons on TV.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson and the crew stole the idea for an episode. I never got any credit, but they loved it, and it was one of the highest grossing episodes they ever used. Sadly, I didn't get any credit, but you know what? Their episode came out a year after my book with the theory in it.
Oh,
So
come on.
I can prove it.
Wow.
Yes, this was the theory in the book
They
that I talked
they
about.
even used it by name.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh,
Memory,
what?
bubble, and you.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Do you
So,
well, they would have given you credit though if they'd been trying to, like, there's a way to present an idea that's already been done, and you give the proper credit, whatever. But that just makes it seem like they took it. They're saying it's theirs.
they took it. They figured out it's just a Canadian guy. Who
Uh,
cares,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Mhm.
he doesn't. Yeah,
Nothing I
he's
can
not
do.
going to care.
No, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to call Fox up. Fox has 3 lawyers for every employee. I'm
Mhm.
not going to going anywhere. So
I don't know. No, I think you got a case, Richard. Get
Yeah.
the searcher group some funding out of this. Hair Force, there's definitely something out there that we cannot explain yet. I commend all of you for all delving in and researching and looking for answers. Yeah, these guys are doing the hard work and the right way. Okay, well, I didn't mean to cut you off. If you want to, is there anything else that you want to add about
so what
the memory bubble?
I'll try and put it in a nutshell because it's very complex. It's huge.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So what it is the process of becoming a spirit and where you're going to be. So an individual dies. They go through a life memory process, a life review. And while they're doing the review, they can pick a place that might have been the happiest, joyous time of their life, right? They just bought a new house, they're starting a family, they just had their first kid. It could have been AM20, have a great time at the cottage. I have my favorite dog, I just met a girl or a guy or whatever. And that is going to be where they go. They're going to build the memory bubble around that time, and it's going to become real to them. All those memories, all those emotions will be in that ball. All the people that they know, living or dead, they'll build a facsimile of those people through memory to be around them. And this is why ghost hunting is so complex, because they carry these memories with them, and they leak out. They can leak out like a daydream or something like that, and you think that there's 6 or 7 ghosts in there, but it's just the one. But they're creating all these other spirits around them.
They're creating their reality. Yeah.
Their reality. But but we don't really see them or deal with them because they're so far back in their reality that it's just sort of like a slice of heaven for them. They're so content that they're so quiet that we don't find them. The most ones we find are like the 2 that I mentioned. They either have a story or a secret. And those are the ones that go through their life review right to the end. And they dwell right at the end of their life. Something went wrong. Somebody did something to me. I was a victim. I was evil and I did bad stuff, or whatever. I have to hide this thing, and then those are the ones we deal with all the time. They didn't build the reality, so that's a bit of a slice of hell, and they have so many difficulties, so many problems, because either they're upset because something happened and they want to tell the story, and nobody's listening, or they have a secret and they're constantly fighting to hide that. And when you get a bunch of spirits together and that conflict starts, well, I have a story to tell. Why don't we tell the story? And then people call us and say, hey, I've got problems.
Yeah.
You've got problems. And then we try and do conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Right? We dig and dig and dig until we expose that story, whatever it is. And then the negative guy, he's got nothing to hide. Everybody knows. We know now. And he's like, okay, and he leaves. He goes somewhere else. Right? He moves on. So that's in a nutshell.
Okay.
It's a lot more complex. There's a lot of moving parts.
It's in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book.
It is in the book. Well, get the book, guys, please. What does this a theory like this say about people's ideas about the afterlife being, I don't know how to say it, but like being not of Earth, not on Earth? Because it seems like this memory bubble, this theory, it kind of takes place around us.
Yeah.
They're just on another plane. Yeah. But they're on Earth. They're where they remember being.
Oh, they're absolutely on Earth. They're all around us. Think of an arrow bar, right? That I just love arrow bars. But cut it in half and look at it, and it's got all those little bubbles, right?
Yeah.
Those are all little memory bubbles. That's that's the reality around us. They're all here. Whether they're quiet, every house is haunted, but most houses, they're so content that you never know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
They just until something goes wrong. And there's a lot of reasons why things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But they're usually content, they're quiet. I'll give you an example of one job I did in Toronto, down on the beaches. How things can go wrong and how the memory shifts, how the bubble causes problems. So there was a house. A couple moved in. They automatically started having trouble. Their stuff was thrown against the front door, trying to scare them out of the house. I said, what's going on? So I said, I'll have a look. So I came down and did some investigative work there. Did a ton of research on the past of the house. Talked to the previous family. They had no problems at all. And what it was is because the couple moved in were gay. Previous owner back in the 50s was a pillar of the community, and he ran the church. So old prejudice, right? So I'm not going to have any of this in my house. This is ridiculous, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get these people out of my house. And we tried to modernize this individual, this spirit, to the fact that, hey, the world's changed. This is okay now. And nope, absolutely no. And the guys finally said, you know what, we're out of here. And they put the house up for sale and they moved. And a family moved in, they had kids, quiet as could be. That's acceptable. You're fine in my house. It's like, but you get old prejudice and they dredge up and you go from quiet to nasty to quiet again, right? As that scenery changes.
Okay.
So,
Triggered by emotion.
Right.
Yeah, it's driven by emotion. Yeah.
Okay. Are these spirits who are kind of in conflict with whatever is going around them? Is that when we might find ourselves in danger, when our animals might be in danger?
I guess it's possible. Yeah.
Is that the scenario where that would happen? I only bring that up because I'm an animal lover. I've got 4 animals of my own, and the fact that I think it was mentioned a couple of times in the book, that sometimes animals can find themselves at the nasty end of an unseen force, and sometimes it can get worse than that, and they run a high risk actually of literally dying, being
They really
killed.
do, and for two major reasons. When you have a spirit that's a diabolical spirit that's in for harming someone, disrupting their life, causing them harm, dogs and cats notice more. They don't like to be noticed. The spirit doesn't want to be noticed. But animals notice more, so they become a target.
Okay.
The second reason is to create panic and anguish to the owner. The animal becomes a target as well.
Okay.
Because maybe I can't get to you directly right now, but if I can get to your pet, I'm winning the war, whatever I'm trying to accomplish as a diabolical spirit. I'm winning in their mind, right?
I gotcha.
Those are the two things. The first thing a spirit doesn't want is a cat going and following. It's drawing your attention to something in the room, and they don't want that, right? Stealth is everything, especially if they're trying to cause harm. The only time they want you to know they're around is, it's that jump moment, right? The startle moment, right? I don't want you to see me coming. I want to just be there. When you open the closet, I'm like, right? That's their mentality. So, right?
Okay.
It's no good if you see them walking down the hall coming at you. It's like, okay, whatever, just close the door. But so they're more, and the cat and the dog are giving their possessions away all the time because they see more. It's the way their eyes are designed.
Man.
So
Yeah, right. Yeah. That freaks me out so much. My cats do that all the time, staring at a corner.
Yeah. Well, cats are like that. They might be just messing with you. Watch this.
Catitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll go and sit outside the closet door going, something in the closet. Yeah. No,
Well, you guys, so we are actually already over the hour. If you don't mind hanging out just a few more minutes, I would definitely. I just really, especially since Hereford is here, he's my resident skeptic, and I think he would really like this part. So I wanted to include a couple of ideas and equipment and methods that you guys have basically debunked. There's nothing to them.
Sure.
We're gonna save I think Stone Tape Theory. Let's talk about that for Patreon. But this one broke my heart because it's a lot of people use this technique. It's very dramatic evidence capture, and it's easy to get.
No.
Can you
You're not
talk
gonna
about
say
the flashlight?
You said the flashlight.
Why you guys? Come on.
Actually, that's what upset Paul one time too. We were talking about disagreements within the team. Paul,
Yeah.
You can probably, do you recall that, Richard?
Yeah, I know. I couldn't find my flashlight for a week. I know. I think he threw it in the garbage, but
yeah, no, I mean, it was something I saw on television and wanted to try. Just in the name of experimentation, and it did seem to work in a couple of instances. But now I think we can just knowing more, seeing a video on why that doesn't work, and I think I included a link to the YouTube video in the book because it was so complicated to explain. We only had so many pages to fill. Anyway, so now that we know that using the flashlight method is not reliable as far as getting accurate communication or yes or no
any
answers,
slightest vibration. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And heat.
Slightest vibration.
And it's heat within the flashlight itself, bringing the plates together and producing light, kind of thing. So, and it is constant. or maybe there's no pattern to it, but it will
Mhm.
happen, and the investigator will say, "Oh, that's a yes," or something, or that means there's somebody here. But probably the best way to corroborate that would be to run maybe one or two other experiments in tandem. Now, if all those things, like let's take the flashlight out of the picture, but if you had a proximity meter or REM pod or whatever go off at the and in reaction to a question, or maybe somebody says something, then that might be something there. But the
Mhm.
flashlight method we can't rely on, unfortunately.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
that
I
makes
thought
me
you were
so
going to bring up
sad.
I thought you were going to bring up the Estes method, because I've
Oh.
a few people have spoken to me about that. Not upset,
Mhm.
but wondering why doesn't that work? I'm like, well, I explain why in the manual, but I also offer, or we offer a go-to
Okay.
using a microphone, a pickup mic, to
Mhm.
try and improve on that method as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you grow comfortable with these go-to methods and ways to do this stuff. So it's
Mhm.
always hard to hear like, "Oh, actually that's total crap." But then, you guys come up with new ways of doing things and alternate ways of doing things. So it's all good. All comes out in the wash. This last one I'll ask just because I think most people here are going to understand what I'm saying. Investigators have used it, non-investigators have used it for clearing energy. If you recall the details that you learned about this, why is
Mhm.
smoke cleansing should not be don't do it?
Yeah.
Do you
It
No.
was
recall?
it was never meant to be
Mm-hmm.
a shooing away
Mm-hmm.
method. Um,
Right. Well, I found
It's
it interesting because I can't remember the number of cases that you looked at that specifically used smoke cleansing
mhm.
for the energy, but it was a high number of cases you
it's
guys looked at, and a crazy percentage of them came back after like 3 days. You could
Yeah.
always
see
pretty. Yeah.
a
It's
return of the energy and even worse.
yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
live. I don't live far from a First Nations reserve, and I
Hmm.
go there for gas, and I go there for my smokes, and I talk to these guys a lot, and they're first of all, we're using another culture's without giving them any credit, another
Hmm.
culture's uh,
It's appropriation.
method, and
Yeah.
yeah. But aside from all that, it's Uncle Joe comes home and he's had a bad day and he's has a little too much to drink and he's upset about the world and he's upset with his wife or his kids and he's angry with the dog, and that negativity in the home built up over time is like nicotine stains, and that is what smudging is about. That negative feelings, it's constantly there, can clear that negativity and freshen it up and make it lighter. And that's what it's designed for, to get
Mhm.
rid of that
Oh.
negative stuff.
Hmm.
What it's not designed for is negative spirits.
Yeah, for
That's a
people.
totally different animal, right? And we're confused because we misinterpret what the book said. When you bought it at the native store or wherever you got your book from, some new age place, it's a misinterpretation of negativity and what it means. So people use it to clear. It will clear. It does. It's like calling your big buddy, the bouncer, and say, "Get rid of these guys." No problem. Throw them out. But what happens is it's limited. And then they realize, well, wait a minute, where are we going? And then they come back with a vengeance. And it's usually 3 days later.
Yeah.
And then we get a call and go, wow, this is gone wrong. Um, well, what happened? Oh, my friend cleared they smudged.
Mhm,
Oh, yeah. That was 3 days ago? Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Um, Clearing is a big problem. Usually, even a medium clearing a house, unless you do a deep dive investigation and know all the actors involved. They don't do that. They come in, they go, "Hello, who's here?" And who answers? The pleasant ones, the nice ones. They go, "I'm over here." "Okay, you have to leave. I'm going to smudge you out of the house. Get out." "Okay." So they leave. And then you look in the corner, and there's the brooding one the doom and gloom guy. Nobody noticed. He didn't make himself present. Medium goes, okay, that'll be $50, and she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's no balance. The good ones were nice, and they left. You said, hey, go. Okay, we left. Now there's no balance. So this guy's got complete rule of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to do harm the whole time. It's just the nice ones were saying, wait a minute, we won't help if you don't hurt. Okay, that's an agreement. We have an accord. No problem. Well, that's broken now because they've gone. And now clients on the phone calling around and saying, I've got big trouble. The medium's not coming back. They got their money. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're in a tough game. Very tough game. It can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And those good spirits aren't coming back either. You've sent them away. So
We'll try and get them back.
Yeah.
yeah, good luck.
There's no app for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just something that one really stuck out to me. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. But yeah, crazy. All right, you guys. Yeah, just 11 minutes over the hour. Let's go ahead and wrap this guy up, and then we'll head backstage. Why don't you direct folks watching who are going to listen to the replay where to learn more, where to follow you online, and where do you want to send them to get a copy of the book?
Yeah, well, online, thesearchergroup.ca, all one word. Canadian website. That's our home site. You can contact us through that site if you wish. You can find our book at any good book dealer, Amazon.com, Amazon.ca here in Canada, Chapters/Indigo here in Canada, Books A Million. Any book dealer should have our book, and it's the complete Paranormal Investigation Handbook. And of course,
Awesome.
Richard's 5 books and my solo outing are online as well.
More to come. More to come.
Hopefully.
All right.
Yes.
Hopefully. It's up to the
Yes.
publisher. It's not up to us.
Me too. I've got one on the go too.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for this fascinating discussion. And let's go ahead and close out the discussion part. Would you please leave my audience with a final thought, words of wisdom, or a piece of advice?
Your turn.
Keep searching and be safe. Have fun with it. Keep an open mind, but most importantly, have fun with it. If you don't have a sense of humor, it's not the thing for you. You really have to have that sense of humor, because if you don't, it's going to drive you crazy and it's going to creep you out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I would, to piggyback on that, play it safe, be respectful. Again, back to the respect, and share information with your fellow team. Let's. Part of the reason for this manual is that we want to encourage collaboration, not competition.
Mm-hmm.
Share data, share experiments, and try somebody else's experiment to see if it works, and then let's get a discussion going and drive research forward instead of being worried about proving ghosts exist. They do. Okay, let's get past that. You don't have anything to prove to science or the skeptical. Let's just ask the deeper questions and move forward from there.
that's right.
Well put. Well put. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Richard Palmisano and Peter Rowe. Y'all are the best. Thank you for joining me for this one.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's terrific.
Awesome. All right. Let me put you guys backstage. Hang out for me, and we'll get just a couple minutes for Patreon. I'll be right back. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Okay. Let me mute those mics. Okay. Awesome stuff, you guys. Awesome night tonight. Oh my gosh. I learned a lot from this. I learned a lot from the book. It's a lot of good information. And I'm going to remind you where you can find the book. So learn more about my guests and their body of work and their past investigations. Again, that is thesearchergroup.ca, and pick up a copy of their book, The Complete Paranormal Investigation Handbook. Go to your local book dealer. You can find it numerous places online. I put up it was the Llewellyn purchase link, just the publisher's purchase link in the show notes tonight, just for your convenience. So check it out. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up. Yes, before you go, please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We do these live guest interviews once a month, and you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss that. Follow the show on social at Paranormal Girl Pod. And I put updates and new episode announcements up there. Now, you can catch me live in a couple of weeks. Coming up here, first up, the most ridiculous way you have ever been injured is the topic of discussion over on Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. That is going to take place December 4th. Now, the boys have not given me a start time yet for that, but it will be in the neighborhood of 7 p.m. Central will be the start time. Call in live, 208-717-1611, or send your story ahead of time to Go Stop Beer. There you go. December 6th, 2 days later, you can meet me right back here on Paranormal Girl for our next live guest, AP Sylvia. Will be joining me at a definite 7 p.m. Central to discuss vampires, beliefs about them, and their folklore. He has written a book on the matter, Vampires of Lore, Traits, and Modern Misconceptions. That is going to be a fascinating read, sure to be a fascinating chat. But I think that's all I've got for you tonight. Yes, so thank you guys again for watching. Thank you to those who will be watching and listening to the replay. I really appreciate it. I will see everybody back here come December. Until then, stay safe, keep the nightlight on, and sleep with one eye open.